Please, a lot of the people that watch us aren't already subscribed. So if you like what you see, please hit that
Yeah,
subscribe
let us
button.
know.
It was announced the death of Sabu. It was very ironic, the timing, because this happened just as the dark side was coming out about his uncle. When did you first come across Sabu?
First time I came across Sabu was probably the wrestling magazines, and I'd say somewhere between 93 and 95, maybe a little earlier, but not too much earlier. Because I think 95, yeah, I'd seen him in WCW briefly when he had that very small run. But I had seen stuff with him. I saw a few tape trading things because our friend on the show, AJ, actually got a tape from somebody when he was in the service for a bit. And I actually said wrestling magazines. And yeah, I mean, I was familiar that he was a guy that was kind of crazy, breaking tables and doing all this violent stuff. And it was kind of like just, especially back in those days, when the internet wasn't as prevalent and you're just reading about it. It really kind of drew you to him, these magazines, because it was almost like, like just reading a good book. Like you're reading this and you're like, you're gripped. You're like, is this guy for real? And then you see it and you're like, oh no, this guy is every bit for real. He is just violent. He is just wild. Then you kind of hear the stories about the guy out of the ring. And then you find out, who his uncle is and everything. And it's just, yeah, Sabu is, I don't know. I mean, he's somebody that should probably be in a wrestling Hall of Fame. He's definitely, it's the cliche, but he kind of really helped make the style that the wrestling business is now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I first heard of him in ECW, and he was the perfect wrestler for their wild, the acrobatics, really kind of brought ECW to prominence. In a way, he's really a prototypical pro wrestler, like in definition, because he's all about the gimmick. He gave a lot to the business. And I mean, right up until the end, it was a few weeks, maybe a month ago now, the Joey Janela's spring break match against Joey Janela.
Very curious to see what that match even looked like.
Well, it's funny, like a week ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, my boss at work, who's not a wrestling fan, found this clip of Sabu being thrown through the barbed wire ropes into like a bed of barbed wire. And then he asked, he goes, who is this? Is this some kind of like, is this a big company? And I'm like, no, it's not a big company, but the guy that was in that match is a legend. And then there was an even worse spot, which I've referenced on this show, where he gets like thrown into a board, the board breaks, he goes out of the ring. I think for people of our age, Sabu is kind of like one of those big figures of the newer era.
His feuds with Taz, Rob Van Dam, Terry Funk, all his major feuds that he had in ECW are just legendary. And,
going over to Japan too.
Not only his acrobatics, but just the brawling and the wildness to him. Like he was one of a kind. And by the way, also too, shout out to all the companies, WWE, AEW, TNA, everyone I saw gave a really nice tribute for him.
That's what I was just about to say. The reactions you had, Taz. I saw like a social media post with Taz talking about Sabu. Rob Van Dam trained with Sabu under the Sheik, been good friends for years. It's interesting to hear what fellow wrestlers have to say. It's interesting to see how the companies are portraying it.